Welcome to the Hire Yourself podcast. Are you stuck in the corporate rat race, worrying about layoffs, and longing to take control of your destiny? This is the place for frustrated executives like you who want to escape the grind, live life on your own terms, and build wealth. Whether you're ready to make a full transition into franchise ownership or want to start building a side business along your corporate job, Pete guides you every step of the way. He'll talk about how to create career and income security, diversify your assets and income, and live life on your own terms. Your path to controlling your own destiny starts now.
Welcome to the Hire Yourself podcast. My name is Pete Gilfillan. I am an international best-selling author of the book Hire Yourself. I'm a proud corporate escapee. I am the international best-selling author of the book Hire Yourself. And bottom line is that my mission in life is to help senior level executives explore the option of leaving the corporate world and to take control of their destiny, to live life on their own terms, and certainly to build wealth. And so during the podcast, I always try to answer a question. And I had somebody say something to me, a candidate the other day. It goes, Pete, I just want to get a job. You see, I want to create income security. And I was kind of taken back because, as I always talk about, is that I believe there is no more income security with a J-O-B, job. And so this is my kind of rant, as much as you'll ever see me rant, is that if you're still trying to think about, is there income security with a job? You think that's a steady paycheck? Well, bottom line is that the security that you've been accustomed to with a job in terms of income, those days are gone. Unfortunately, that's the reality of it. There is no more security with a job. Just watch the news, right? You see the layoffs, you see the mergers, you see the acquisitions, you see the bankruptcy. You have uncertainty in the economy. Bottom line is there is no more certainty. And so you need to create your own certainty. But let's talk about, how did we get here? How come there is no more income security in a JOB? Well, first of all, we have this idea of automation as well as AI. They're displacing corporate jobs. There was a great article in the Wall Street Journal about a year ago that talked about the disappearing white-collar job. AI is going to take jobs. It's the reality of it. And it's going to make some of us where we're just not relevant in today's world. So if you have a franchise business, you got a consulting business, you have just whatever type of business you have, bottom line is that you can't be outplaced or displaced by AI or automation. Also, the deal is that we are this gig economy. We're out there, and this is the idea that bottom line is these companies, they're basically saying, hey, listen, we don't need you from that standpoint. We can hire these other little companies to do the stuff. We don't need employees. So this gig economy creates instability in regards to jobs. And there's certainly, and we've seen this for a long time, is this globalization, outsourcing of jobs. Bottom line is companies are outsourcing jobs to reduce their costs, to tap into the global talent pools, right? So literally, maybe I'm hiring a CRM expert that I would normally have an employee do that. I literally can hire somebody that's overseas that is a lot less expensive, that from the standpoint is maybe it's a contract or it could just be low cost labor from the standpoint. And then certainly as we see what's happening with the economy, there's uncertainty. There is uncertainty when it comes to the markets right now. And so companies are downsizing. They're laying people off. They're making less capital investments. Bottom line is this leads to layoffs, and you are vulnerable from that standpoint. And as we get older, especially if you're in your 50s, bottom line is your skills may be obsolescent. You might be, for lack of better terms, this idea that you are becoming obsolete. And so the idea of lifetime learning, you can essentially, if you have your own business, you can continue to learn all that kind of stuff and stay relevant, and nobody can clock you out from that standpoint. And then certainly, we're again this rise of temporary employment. So we're just going to hire people for a period of time, or again that contract work. You see some of that stuff, and bottom line is that that's really tough. Here's an interesting stat, and probably should have used it at the beginning. So if you're a 50-year-old plus corporate level executive, 50% of 50 plus year old corporate executives get pushed out of companies before they're ready. They're pushed into retirement and they're getting pushed out. And then if you go try to find something else, only 10% find a job or something that provides as much or more income. So, and part of that is these contract jobs, this contract work. So we're going to let you go and maybe we'll hire you back on a 3-month contract or a temporary. We don't have to pay you benefits. We don't have long-term commitment to you. And then certainly we see more and more of this restructuring, this downsizing of companies. I think a little bit of Southwest Airlines. For the first time in their history, they just went through a downsizing of their people. This is real from that standpoint. They're getting rid of redundancies. They are just jobs are going away. And again, if you are the owner of a business, you can't be downsized. You have your own consulting business, you can't be downsized. You have an independent business, you can't be downsized. You're in charge of your income, or simply put, you have income and security as a business owner. And there is a world out there that's changing. There's changing jobs, demands on jobs. There's job polarization. Bottom line is that the markets are changing and there's jobs that have high growth. So if you know how to do AI, you're probably worth a heck of a lot. And you see a lot of the low skill jobs kind of going away, but that middle jobs, the kind of this fall in the middle, those are the ones that you got to be really worried about because you're on the path of potentially being gone from the standpoint. And there is, again, this idea of the traditional pensions, all the benefits, those are going away. More and more companies have moved away, and basically there is no long-term security of a pension. Yes, there are some, but we're even seeing those being threatened. And think about the government employees that are being pushed out, right? And you know that at some point in time, the government is, I suspect, going to move away from pensions. My guess from that standpoint. But the idea is that though that security of a pension, that is going away. And it leads to, again, there is no more security in a job. And then global crises and pandemics, that taught us that, hey, listen, when we have those things, bottom line is that you can be laid off, you can be furloughed and anything like that. And there's wide job losses and stuff like that. And we're just one thing away from that. If you own your own business, yes. Will it be difficult during a crisis? Yes, but you're still in control of your income. So bottom line is that whatever reason for you is that you got to understand that jobs are no longer income security. And hopefully you figured that out, right? So yes, I can get a job, I can get a paycheck, but my buddy would say you're renting your income. So I would highly encourage you, figure out a way which you can create secondary incomes. You can create a bridge to reduce that dependency on the corporate level income. Start a business on the side, escape the corporate world, invest in a business. It can be a franchise business, it can be any kind of business, but go out there and take control of your future, your income, your wealth from that standpoint. And that's what I do every day is I work with senior level executives that want to explore franchise business opportunities to see if it is the path for them. But do create income security for yourself. And it doesn't come from a job. It comes from being in control of your destiny, living life in your own terms, and building wealth through business ownership. If you like what you heard today, I encourage you to subscribe, reach out to me. If you got any questions, I'd welcome the opportunity to speak with you. And with that, have a great day.
Thanks for joining us on the Hire Yourself podcast. Pete's here to help you break free from the corporate rat race, take control of your destiny, and finally live life on your own terms. Whether that's jumping into franchise ownership full-time or starting it as a side hustle. If this episode resonated with you, don't forget to subscribe, share it with a fellow frustrated executive, and leave a review to let us know your thoughts. Ready to start building your bridge to freedom? Visit hireyourself.com for resources, insights, and a clear path forward. Until next time, take charge, build your future, and live life on your own terms.